So I want to get something off my chest here. Maybe a bit more modest. It's weird. I woke up this morning. Well, I'll call it nostalgia. It's nostalgia. But to think of it in this way is really interesting. I woke up this morning with like a heart and an emotional mind. Maybe 14 years or so, 12 to 14 years in the past, 10 years in the past, something like that. And it's like I woke up in that state. Whatever my passions and desires and longings and the trials of my day-to-day, emotionally, those deeper heart kind of trials. It's like I woke up in that frame, and then I get in the car and my phone starts playing automatically from the Apple Music, which I don't use. I use Spotify these days, but I've used iTunes and Apple Music products in the distant past. And so then these songs from like 10, 15 years come on that I used to use. And just because my phone just synced in and it was, okay, what do I play? Let me default to this, even though Gabriel never plays that. Apple wants to play it, so let's play it. So it's very interesting, and there is an important space for our past. Our past is critical to our life in our evolution. We are not static creatures. The gift that is life, that is this existence in temporal reality, there is life beyond. In this context, though, here we are in time. And the gift of time is growth. It's a promise. It's an opportunity. It's the rainbow. It's the invitation to reconciliation with God, where we grow out of and into a more holy, a more perfect, a more fruit of the Spirit rich life. A walking step by step, grounded in love, in patience, in joy, in peace, where we're able to, in each of our steps, give life to the ground and the environment around us. Now I'm thinking about some different Studio Ghibli movies where you see these creatures stepping through like the forest, and just life is just blooming out of the ground around them. You see it in Disney. You see this, I don't know if motif is the right word, but this idea echoed throughout stories of gift giving, because it's time presents a gift to us that we may accept. We have the choice to, the opportunity to accept, to eat, to consume. This is the ever-present grace of God. It is this invitation to always step into a knowledge of God. I don't mean knowledge. I mean a living knowledge. If you can see me, I'm pointing not to my mind, but to my heart, to my being. A living knowledge that my life is a testimony of. That's the opportunity. May it be. May my life be a testimony of that promise. To know agape, to know unconditional love, to know peace, to know joy in deeper and deeper measures, and truer and more eternal measures that arc over these little narratives of our day, these little narratives of our age, these wars, these dichotomies, this battle across the political and ideological spectrums where unconditional love bridges us in through our differences in honor of God, born and radiating out of each of us. It's the opportunity, that's the invitation, that the love of God might be made known in this world through our forgiveness, through our being agents of peace, agents of reconciliation, bringing back to, meeting face to face. And our past informs us in this journey through time, in lessons that we might be able to learn, in things that we might be able to recognize and see, well, there's a pattern there, and actually maybe that pattern is broken in a certain way, is evil in a certain way, is unhealthy in a certain way, and then we can pull in these gifts, these tools, having compassion and love for ourselves, even though we are imperfect, desiring to bring peace to a situation as opposed to just asserting our ego for our ego's sake. So being willing to sacrifice for the greater cause of being reconciled with each other, with our family. And I mean our family in like this blood stuff, but then more broadly, the blood that we all share as a family, as a spiritual family. You and I are family. And so, it's like I was really stuck in the past this morning, and it was really riveting, really emotional, and that's something to acknowledge and to say, well, okay, now what? So I had this past trip. Okay, but how do I bring justice to the situation? I can't step into the past and do things that I want to do and this and that, and no. How do I have a justice-oriented vision that is being able to lay hold of the future, though it is not here? This requires a faith. How do I lay hold of that future? And then come alive in the present. Operate and activate the present, which is where I am always being defined. It is true that we are not defined by our past. It's also the case that we're not defined by our future. We may be called by our future, beckoned unto, but we bring definition in the present, the only place to act. The only place where action is possible is right now. Never a moment before or after. It always exists in some other space. I'm down here around Jackson Park, South Chicago, like a neighborhood called South Chicago, not quite South Chicago. It's beautiful down here. It's so beautiful. It's amazing. The houses are beautiful. People are beautiful. The sun, the outside, the birds, the trees are beautiful. It's a wonderful neighborhood. It's a shame that there's a perception, because it's mostly black, mostly African American, that the property is worth less. Isn't that something? Echoes of slavery and real present racism and economic segregation here with us today. I see it and it's disgusting. Imagine being a victim of it. Like so many in this nation are. May we not be blind to the injustices around us. And may we have a vision for what our future can be together. What reconciliation might look like together. And then may we act. Those of us privileged to not be subjugated by these systems of oppression, be they subtle, built over decades and decades, generations and generations of policies and social norms, or be they overt, more easily seen by the uninitiated or white eye. May we act to bring justice both within our hearts and our relationships with others, but within our social relationships as communities, as neighborhoods, as cities, as states, as nations, recognizing our responsibility to each other, not living in the fondness of the past for some, the kind of make America great again paradigm where the past was great. We're not living in just the shame of our past for what those who came before us, white America, have done. Not living in the oppression of the past for those of us who have been for generations oppressed, but to fix our eyes on a just future, to have faith in the reconciliation that is possible in God with each other, that we can and we will overcome, and to understand that this does require action on our part. May we have the wisdom and the discernment and the courage, the strength to move forward in the ways that are just, to move forward in the ways that bring the reality of the kingdom of heaven into this earth. Where the uncompromising, unrelenting, ever-present, ever-inviting, unconditional love of God is breathed out of each of us into our environments, sending ripples and shock waves. Into the children on our block, into the trees in our neighborhood, into the concrete, the cement, the blacktop, the whatever other materials that we drive on, or ride on, or walk on. Into the systems and structures, the policies, the organizations, the laws of our local, city, state, nation, multinational governing organizations. That the earth might resonate Have you ever been in a room? For me, the first time was in Mrs. Pollock's choir class. I was a sophomore. I joined choir because of this girl, and it was the best decision maybe I ever made, because I discovered something there. I discovered many things there. But right now I'm talking about resonance. We were in this room and we were learning a song for our fall concert. It was called Lamentations of Jeremiah. And we had been learning the song for a while, but we had been practicing in different parts and different groups. And so this was the first time that we came together as a mixed chorus, from bass up through sopranos, basses, tenors, altos, sopranos, a spectrum from deep to... And hope you enjoyed that. It just came alive. The song went like, "O vos omnes," and then we kind of wait and you sing it again, "O vos omnes," and you do repeat that a couple times, and it's like, "O vos omnes, si quanti pis perviam," something like that. "O vos omnes," and some altos or so sing like, "O vos omnes," tenors or something. And then you launch into this what you call the chorus, or these words escape me. They always have. But everyone's singing, and one part is like, "Si esto Lord, something or meus." Then this other part goes like, "Si esto Lord, dolor, meus," something along those lines. And I'll tell you what, that room filled with this kind of, it's like amplified voices all coming together in consonance, not dissonance, where things kind of cancel each other out and it sounds off, but consonance, where it's like everything is supporting each other. And you get this kind of synchronicity of sorts. You get this kind of whole is greater than the sum of its parts sound, where the room it's like the room starts moving. It's like the air starts dancing, and you can almost feel it in your bones. That's coming together. That resonance in the room. How might we then, considering these micro examples of resonance that are life-changing, just imagine what that looks like spiritually on the scale of a city. Oh my God. Your block. What if all the houses along your row or in your floor of an apartment building were in resonance with each other, where you could feel the presence of God when you step onto that floor, when you step onto your block. My mom is very gifted at cultivating a spiritual environment where she lives. You step into her house. You step onto her lawn, but you step into her house. And it's like you're being hugged unconditionally. It's like maybe you just did the worst thing in how you're feeling about yourself. What I mean is, you have such a self-condemnation for whatever it is, or you feel dirty or whatever it is. You step into her house and there's just a power there. It's a presence of God that just will totally dismantle that perception and will make you vulnerable to feel that you're just being hugged, that you're being embraced, that you're being loved. Now, what would it look like for such an awakening on the scale of our communities to be reconciled together and move forward in that kind of love, and to have a love resonance, an agape resonance on the scale of a city. Wow. What majesty. Now, I worry that my love isn't enough. I worry that like when it counts, I can't or won't deliver. And that's a worry then that's anchored in the future. And I let it disrupt my action in the present. I let it disrupt my growth in the present. Then what it does then is that I let it disgrace the gift that is this moment for me to operate in good fruit, to grow, to act, to share the love that I've been given. I fear that it's wrong. So may I share the gift. May I be able to appreciate what moment to moment to moment I am being offered in this life. And then in truly appreciating it, may I give forward gifts of joy, of love, of peace, of healing. Of justice, of reconciliation. That bring us together closer to the heart of God. How do I overcome fear? I have struggled with fear for such a long time, and I wonder if I overcome by giving. And maybe that's it. Here is to the moment and the gift that is this moment. Like a fountain, pouring forth, never turning off, always showering us. May we be open to receive that spring, that refreshing flow. May our whole being be watered. And in so receiving, and in so having appreciation for, then being able to receive, then may we pour out onto others these gifts in every moment.